Welcome to a presentation on how to use 123Sync email integration. In this demonstration, we're going to show how to use the email attachment strategy that we just came up with, which is very, very nice. The current integration model does a couple of things. First, it takes the email that's attached and puts it into the history record in ACT. When that happens, all the email attachments are stored under the attachments folder in ACT. So if we look at the attachments folder, we can see here that on the attachments that there's all the files are stored in its original format. So what the email integration does, when we attach to ACT, to the ACT history item, the email gets copied over from the source and then attached to that particular folder. So if we have a 10-user ACT database and the user receives 40 emails a day and he sends 50 emails a day, each email, what we've seen, is probably an average of 500K, maybe less. Some of them are more, but let's just do an average 500K. So each user on sending and receiving emails, and this of course is excluding any major attachments, proposals, pictures, and whatever. So you're looking at each user sending about 45 megabytes of email that gets attached to ACT. So taking that into the 10 users, what we have is 450 megabytes of email that get attached to ACT every day that gets added to the attachments folder. So let's bring it over to a month. So we get about 1 terabyte of email data that gets deposited into the attachments folder. And these are hundreds, if not thousands, of files that get deposited into the attachments folder. So the current advantages of this integration model is, it's simple. Everything goes under one folder in ACT, and the emails reside in a flat folder in ACT, which is really nice. But the disadvantage of it is the email folder grows daily for ACT. Email sizes have increased dramatically over the past years. If you do a full backup of ACT, and you include the attachments, the backup most likely will fail. Because if you've been using ACT for about a year, you'll probably have anywhere between 12 to 20 terabytes of data that are going to go into a single file. And that sooner or later, to restore that, you will have problems. Or even to write to that something that large. And you also have folder limitations to the number of files you can store under one folder. The attachment of the retrieval and the search of the attachment is slow. And if you want to backup of attachments or organize the attachment, it's really difficult. And the biggest problem what we've seen is if you restore the ACT database with all these attachments, when the the restore will most likely fail. You're looking at, if you have a 1.5 year folder, you're looking at about 20, 30 terabytes, and restoring that with ACT, it's most likely going to fail, and everything then basically rolls over, and you won't be able to restore, and you probably will lose a lot of the attachments. So what we've done is we looked at this model, and we tried to find a solution to it, and I think we have it. So what we do is we store the emails in a hierarchical form. So it's like a Windows tree. And instead of adding the emails into the history item, we add a shortcut. For the user, it's transparent. The user doesn't know he's actually using a shortcut. So we add that. And the shortcut is about 1 kilobytes. 2 kilobytes. And so a 1 megabyte email or attachment is 500 shortcuts. So we're achieving approximately anywhere between 450 to 550 times compression on that folder, on the attachments folder. So let's look at our email attachment strategy. What we have here is we keep our email storage, and we rotate every year. At the end of the year, we start a new store for the email. So we keep rotating, so we know, so we keep a yearly track of the emails when they come and send, receive. So we sort them by user, and then goes to the inbox, and then you see and then we name them numerically. 2015-01, the year is 2015-01 is the month, so that's January. And then we deposit the emails in that folder. So all the shortcuts will point to these folders. So 2015-02 will show you all the emails that came in February. We do that for the inbox, and we do that for the sent items. So what you do, if you have multiple users, we just automatically create these users for you and then put the emails in there. There are great advantages of storing the data hierarchical and in different folders other than the attachments folder that we have in ACT. First, the ACT attachments folder does not explode in size, since the shortcuts are only 2K versus the size of the emails, which tend to be half a meg, 1 meg, if not more. So 1 megabyte, one email can have 500 shortcuts. So you have a 1 to 500 compression rate on the attachments database, if not higher. And all emails are stored in a hierarchical tree, so you can actually search or look at the tree as well as archive the emails that you have in ACT. The substantial space savings for ACT and the reduction of the corruption on the ACT database, because now you have all the data is actually separate from where ACT resides. It dramatically simplifies management of the email storage and ACT attachments. And the restoration of the ACT database is far more feasible, because instead of having a 20 terabyte backup, you will probably have only half a terabyte, if not 200 megabyte backup of your ACT database. So what do you do as a user or even a prospect of 123Sync? First, you enable the 123Sync email attachment strategy on your implementation of 123Sync. This is only available after version 17.5.50 of 123Sync, since it's a new addition to our product. I will show that in a minute on how to do that. And now you also ask, what do you do with the current files that you have in your attachments folder? And we have a solution for that. There's a website that we have also, it's called 123 Add-ons, and we'll provide a tool that you can run through your attachment, and it will actually categorize for you and move them into an independent storage place where it will change the history items in ACT. And it will take your existing ACT attachments as well, not only the email, and put them into a hierarchical order onto a destination drive. And when it does that, it replaces the links in ACT with the shortcuts, which is pretty cool. I apologize if I'm going too fast or I get too excited about this, but this feature is a real game changer on email integration, make it not only easier but far more reliable for ACT. So taking the whole burden out of ACT, and we get excited here at 123Sync when we come up with features like that, which we think are just makes ACT better. It makes your communication better. Anyway, so let's go to 123Sync and look at where to do the settings. So if you go to the general settings and you go to the email, we now have what we call an email folder strategy. So you click on that, and we provide with two options. One is by default, we just do the standard ACT attachment strategy. So we provide that. So if you just select here and you put the mechanism. So from here, all you do is you choose where you want to deposit your email. So if you want it in this PC, just choose which folder you want it to go. Here we want to see, let's go to we like temp actually. Let's put on the temp here. So now all emails will actually be deposited from here. And the first thing we do when you run 123sync, we see whether you have the users folders have been defined, and if they have not, we create them. We create all the sent item folders and everything. And once you do that, you just set it to this. Make sure that you got the correct folder, and then from there on, we do all the attachments for you. It's very simple, very straightforward. And if you have a redirected drive, make sure that you do the network drive. That means when you do the browse, instead of going, for example, here, if you go to a redirected drive, which is like this one, public, it's a V. You don't put that. You actually go to the network, and from the network, then you choose which drive that you want. So from here, we want to say, okay, we want to put that on the public drive, and we just say, okay, in the temp here, and that way we actually will deposit the attachments there. Do not use redirected drive when you're running 123sync in the background or as a service, because the mapping does not transfer over to the reader into the service. One of the problems about us here at 123sync is we see a design like this and we always think we can do better. So let's have a look again at our solution. So here we have an ACT database. And what we do with the current implementation is we create a shortcut. And the shortcut, of course, accesses a network drive. The nice part about this is everybody in that network drive or everybody in that ACT database has access to that network drive. So everybody can open the attachments to look, and this is particularly important if you have a large organization. So what we do here, everybody's accessing it. So let's take this one step further and go, okay, what if that network drive is actually a Dropbox or a OneDrive on the network, on the internet? So it has so we can actually create HTTP addresses to those files. So what we really want is if we have an iPad and we're using ACT for Web and we look at the history and it says, oh, this email was sent to you, have a look at this email. We really want the iPad to access the cloud and then go to the OneDrive and say, open this email. Now, if your network drive or your Exchange system has an interface or an HTTP or HTTPS interface, you can also go and access that file from the network drive. So how do we set up something like this where you can have an external device that is actually not on the internal network with a shared network drive? How can we set it up so we can actually access those great attachments? Well, let's have a look. Open 123sync again, and just remember that the general settings are where these things are set up on the email tab, and click on the email folder strategy. We've added a new option here, which is what we call add cloud path to history body text. It's a very cool little option because you'll be able to directly access that attachment that is on the internet. By having this in here, you can put anything that you want, but we replace this with this particular item on the body text of the ACT. So let's open ACT and let's just go to a contact that has had that done. So we're looking at this contact here, And what you can see here is what we put is we call it remote internet path, and that is a direct path to the message. So if you double click on the activity on the history, here we have, and you can see right here there's a direct path to the history that is actually accessible across the internet. Of course, whatever device that you have has to be able to read, or must have an app that is able to read .msg files. So if I go here and I just click on that, you'll find it tells me, oh, how do you want to open? Oh, use Outlook to open this. And then here it is. Here's the message. So this message now, I've accessed this message across the internet, and now I'm using it right on my device. So it's a very nice, nifty way to actually put all your emails accessible through your device. Of course, since you're using HTTP or HTTPS, you probably need to put in a username and password and have that cached when you access these files. This concludes our presentation on our new 123Sync email attachment strategy that is now part of our product. If you have any questions, please contact your integrator and have him implement the strategy at your site, or just contact us at 123sync.com for more information. Our software, the latest updates and everything are readily available straight off from our website at 123sync.com. Thank you.